All right, so I'm gonna get a few more renderings of this image. Of course, you use your own Rhino file. Um, I just have a very simple material on this. I just have a plastic metallic gray material. You can use whatever material you like. On my settings options on the gear, I'm just gonna reset everything, the revert. So I'm just back to like the basic defaults. So the only thing I'm going to do for now, under the render output, I'm going to turn on save frame. I'll leave it at the whatever 16:9 widescreen, only because my model just happens to be a little bit longer. If it doesn't work for your model, just change it to either to a square or picture, landscape, whatever works best for your model. And the only thing I'm really going to look at is the image width and height, just these two numbers. All right, so I'm going to render this 3 different times. So I'm going to do like a lower one. So I'm going to change this to like 500, for example. And just render this. And as soon as it's rendered, I'm going to save this. Again, you can either save it to the desktop, but just be aware when you save it to the desktop, make sure you save it to this desktop where you see the icons. Don't save it to this desktop. I'm going to save mine directly to OneDrive. So do test 500 PNG. I'm going to save that. Then I'm going to re-render it. I'm going to make this slightly larger. I'm going to do one that's 800. And then as soon as this is done, I'm going to save this. As a PNG on my OneDrive. And then I'm going to do one more that is 1200 and render this. And again, just keep in mind the larger number that you use here, the longer time it's going to render. And the other thing, I have not even adjusted the quality or the denoiser. Again, those are all just left at the defaults. The only thing that I'm really adjusting is these numbers here. Okay, so as soon as this is finished rendering, I'm going to save this as a PNG. I'm going to open up my OneDrive, and I'm going to open up these 3 in Photoshop. So there's the different resolutions. And I'm going to open up a brand new file. Well, before I do that, I'm going to go to my 500, right? The first one that I rendered. I'm going to go to image size. And here are the 2 numbers. There's the 500 by 281, which is the exact same numbers that I had over here. Right? If I just type in 500, 281, 500, 281. So this is pixels. The thing when you're rendering in V-Ray, it will always give you a resolution of 72. And if you remember from the pixels versus vector, 72 is a low resolution. All right, so if I want to see what this is like in inches, I have a 6.944 inches by 3.9 inches, but it's at a low resolution. So I just want to make you aware of that. All right, so if I go to the 800 image size, Again, I'm in pixels. It's 800 by 450 at 72. It's always going to give me a resolution of 72. But it's a slightly larger file, right? So it's an 11 by 6.25 at a resolution of 62 or 72. I'm sorry. And then if I go to the 1200 one, the one that I rendered last, and I go to image size, obviously this is going to be larger, right? It has more pixels to it. Right, this is a 16, a little bit larger than 16.5, a little bit smaller than 9.5 at a resolution of 72. So again, if I were to just make a new document, and I say I'm going to need this for printing purposes, I'll do it at a letter, 8.5 by 11 at a resolution of 300. And I were to drag all of these into that new file. Go to duplicate layer, untitled, duplicate layer, untitled, and duplicate layer, untitled. I can now see that I have my 3 images in here. But again, I have 3 different sizes, right? I have the 500, the 800, and the 1200. So again, when rendering, just keep this in mind. Obviously, the 1200 would probably be the smallest that it would probably go for, at least in this case. I might try to get one that's even larger, depending on the overall presentation and look that I'm trying to get. But just keep that in mind when you're rendering in V-Ray. It'll always give you a resolution of 72, but when you transfer it over to a canvas that has a resolution of 300, you'll get a better quality image, but it will make the image a little bit smaller. Again, just keep that in mind from the pixel versus vector video.